Your podcasting journey feeling a little bit lonely and disconnected from not having a community? Do you ever feel stuck on how to get your first or your next collaboration? If that's you, then this episode with Jared Easley, the co-founder of Podcast Movement, is for you. In this video, you will learn exactly how Podcast Movement creates opportunities for in-person collaboration and connection, especially for us introverts. If you are an expert looking for the best advice on how to grow your podcast audience, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when we go live with a new video. My name is Deidre Shen, the CEO and co-founder of Capsho, the world's first AI-powered podcast copywriter. I have been working with experts who podcast, and cumulatively, we've banked over $1.6 million in sales through podcasting. I myself did over $200,000 in my first year of podcasting because I stumbled upon these little known secrets. So let's get into how to make the most out of Podcast Movement. Hey, okay, so I'm here with Jared Easley, the co-founder of Podcast Movement, the largest podcasting event in the world. And he has joined me to help us, and not just us, me specifically as well, a shy, a little bit awkward introvert, make the most out of attending a live event like Podcast Movement so that I can ultimately grow my podcast show and grow my business. So I would love for you to share with us almost your 3 top tips to make the most out of an event of like Podcast Movement, and especially for introverts. Obviously, extroverts and introverts can learn a lot. I mean, they're probably naturals at this, but for people who are on the shyer side, more awkward side, don't want to put themselves out there side, how would you advise them to make the most out of Podcast Movement?
Yeah, you are describing a number of our attendees, and so we've heard from so many people that have been in that similar situation. I'm kind of anxious about this, but I really believe I should be there. And so they take that risk, and that risk ends up being something that they see a lot of fruit from. So a couple of things to consider is we have a wonderful event app that comes out a few weeks before the event, which allows a number of things. It allows you to review the sessions. It allows you to review attendees, exhibitors, sponsors, speakers, things like that. And I think that is a key that is very important, especially for the introvert, is just to go ahead and kind of look through that and see, okay, what are the things that I really feel like are important for where I'm at right now that either I need to learn, or is there someone that I need to meet? And even if that's a little uncomfortable, is there someone that I need to just reach out to and say, hey, I'd like to say hello? Because most people are gracious and they're willing to do that. And you would be surprised. You could be, having a coffee with someone from Apple or from, Spotify and Pandora and Sirius XM and iHeartRadio, and I can name dozens of others. You could end up doing that because those people are there. And there's a number of brands that are there. So you can look through that list and you can kind of see, okay, these are people that I want to try to reach out to. You can message them on the app. And you can say, hey, would it make sense? Would love, can we have a coffee? If not, can just stop by and say hello. And most people will at a bare minimum say hello. And I think you should consider doing that, even if that is a little uncomfortable. Just allow yourself that chance to meet someone that is potentially going to be in a position to help you. And not that you're necessarily doing it for that purpose, but if you can get on the radar of these folks, a lot of them will remember you. And if you can build a relationship with them, that can create opportunity. But for someone who's an introvert, I realize that's scary. Another thing that's important is there's certain things that we do, like a new podcaster primer. So if you're a new podcaster, there's this specific event that's just for you, where you can come and you can kind of get some of the lingo down. You can kind of get some of the understanding of podcasting prior to going to this, drinking from this fire hose and learning all this stuff. And it's a wonderful setup because it's also a networking piece to the event where you're allowed to interact, you're allowed to connect in a safe environment and roundtables, and there's questions, that are available. So it's not this complete, okay, you're on your own, start an icebreaker. It's it's set up specifically to try to aid the person who might be a little bit uncomfortable initially. And what will happen is you'll meet a couple people, and then those couple people become your buddies, and those are the people you might have lunch with. Those are the people that you might end up spending that first day with, and you go to the party with that evening, and then you meet a couple more, and the next thing you know, you've made friends whether you're intended to or not, and you're feeling more comfortable than you did going in. We also have the new attendee orientation, which is also a similar thing. Okay, I've never been a podcast movement, so this kind of walks you through, okay, well, what should you expect, and what do you want to think about doing, and so it'll list out all the various things to consider. Oh, here's the networking part. You don't want to miss this. Here's why. There's food. Maybe you don't want to spend all this money on food. Maybe your budget is tight. Okay, so eat there. Go to that event and eat there. Meet some people. So things like that that are really important, and you find out. And then I would say lastly is just don't be afraid to talk to someone. And if you can't think of any other question, you can always say, tell me about your podcast. That simple question is your icebreaker. And that question will give that other person the opportunity. Well, I podcast about dogs, and and you can hear what they have to say, and they are almost always going to return and reciprocate. They're going to be like, well, tell me about what you're doing. And you're like, well, I'm new here and I'm trying to figure things out. Do you have any suggestions? Do you have anyone I should meet? So, you can ask those types of questions, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you need to meet Stacy. Let me introduce you to Stacy. So it is a little bit, it's a leap of faith. It's a you got to step out of the comfort zone a little bit, but if you can do that, we try to make it as easy as possible. We try to have badges and different things that we put on the the name badge, little pins and things that are icebreakers or just ways to show who you are, and then give you a chance to not necessarily always be the one breaking the ice, but have people see a question there or something on your pen, and they'll bring it up, they'll talk to you. But it is overall a collaborative community, a synergistic group, and people are gracious, and so it's easy to say that, but once you experience it, you'll find out. But yeah, the more you can kind of prep yourself and kind of know, okay, this is the schedule, and these are things I really want to be at, and then also consider leaving yourself time to see the exhibitors, talk to them, just because they're not just sell. There's actually some really kind people that just want to help, and yeah, you make a lot of friends that way. So I think, but also make some time for you. If you need a nap, or if you I need 30 minutes to just go have some quiet, because I'm not used to this. That's okay. Take it. It's all right. We have virtual passes for people that are afraid they're going to miss something. They can go back and watch it later. Or you just maybe realize, hey, it's okay. I'm going to take 30 minutes. I'm going to go have, some water and just kind of allow myself to recharge, and then, go back into it. And if you need that, that's okay. Take that. You should do that. So we try to create environments for that. We've had less with the COVID, but pre-COVID, we had like a kind of a special area that was for that type of thing where you could just kind of relax. We had bean bags, and we had all this fun stuff to kind of lounge and take a moment, get on your laptop and check your email if you need to, whatever. So I think we have put forth a lot of effort to be creative and kind of create a environment where the introvert is welcome and can be plugged in a reasonable way, and not have to feel super uncomfortable. And yeah. I hope that they'll give that a chance. And the parties are always really fun. So I'd say don't skip the parties because there usually is food, and just go for the food for no other reason. Save a couple bucks. But parties are amazing, and yeah, I think you'll have more fun than you realize. You'll end up having a good time. So I hope that helps. Yeah.
It does. Wow. I mean, I've already bought my tickets, but I feel so much better now knowing that as an introvert, I can come and do all of those things, check out the app, see who I need to connect with beforehand, just say hi, go to the events that that you're holding specifically to facilitate that environment, to help people meet others. And hey, every now and then, if I'm like, yep, I just need 30 minutes to myself, I just need to recharge my batteries, take that time.
Yeah. Yep.
Ticket. I love those.
Yeah.
And
I need it too. There's moments where I'm like, hey, I need to step away for a little bit. And everybody's like, I get it. Take a step away. Yeah, come back.
And for anyone listening to this, if you are introvert, if you're still a little bit scared or shy, as I said, I'm going to be there. So just come say hi to me at the very least. Yeah. I'd love to say hi to meet more people. But literally, there's no excuse to not go to Podcast Movement. Literally no excuse.
We try our best to make it as reasonable as we can. We try to have it in cities that are, accessible. We try to, we try, but, some people can do it and some can't. And we have scholarships for people that are, tight on money. And we really do want people to be there and want people to enjoy it. And so, yeah, we try our best, and some can and some can't. If you can, don't beat yourself up, but maybe next year. But yeah, we are excited about this event, and I promise you, if you come, you will, at a bare minimum, you'll come away with new ideas. You'll likely come away with new connections that are becoming friends, potentially lifelong friends. So many people have said that to us after the fact. Like, yeah, I didn't realize, how influential, or how, what an impact this would have on me. And so, yeah, it's not a joke. It's something that can really, not just motivate you in your podcast, but just really pick you up. Like if you're just kind of having a challenging season or whatever, just go and you're going to walk away feeling refreshed. So,
I'm just going to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to put out there that this event could potentially change your life.
It could.
It could potentially
and it has for a number of folks. Yeah.
Yes. And so
crazy to say, but yeah.
I 100% would. I would know that. That's why I'm so keen. I'm so excited to be going, because there's just going to be amazing people. There's going to be amazing things you're going to learn. You've already heard from Jared that they've put so much thought and effort and care into this. There's no way that this isn't going to change the trajectory of the path that you're on. So, Jared, if people want to attend, if they want to come, or if they want to learn more about Podcast Movement, where is the best place for them to go?
So this year's event is 2022.podcastmovement.com. You can also just go to podcastmovement.com and click on events. We have wonderful social media channels. Our Instagram and our Twitter are always fun. We have a Facebook group that has like a crazy amount of people in it, like 75,000 people or something. And so that's a great place if you want to just ask a podcast question, like, hey, what mic are you using, or what? How do you promote your show? You even just going in the group, you'll get lots of really good perspective. And so, yeah, we have a number of great social channels. If you just search Podcast Movement, you'll find us pretty easily. But yeah, the event is 2022.podcastmovement.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jared, for joining us on the Grow My Podcast show.
If you are serious about your podcast, I would highly, highly recommend taking the time to attend Podcast Movement and work on building those relationships. We've left a link to sign up in our show notes. And if you're interested in getting in on our free Capsho beta program, do that at beta.capsho.com. That link is also in our show notes. I will see you on the next episode. Stay awesome. Comments if you learned something new in this video and what it was. And if you want to hear the full story behind how Jared created Podcast Movement, then listen to episode 16 of the Grow My Podcast show. I'll leave the link for that below. This video out if you're not sure whether your podcast should be on YouTube, and this one if you want to know exactly how to monetize your small podcast audience.